Okay, you guys, there is a lot going on astrologically this week. And for once, it's like a lot of good stuff because I know that we've kind of been bogged down lately by a lot of the really hard stuff, by the Mercury retrograde stuff, by the having to slow down with all of this Taurus energy, by Mars being in Cancer, which has been incredibly frustrating. It's the word I think of when I think of Mars in Cancer, the eclipses. I mean, you name it, we've kind of thrown the astrological bag at it. And sometimes astrology can kind of feel like a drag when there's so much always going on that feels stuck, hard, transformative, intense. We've had big planets changing into big signs, Pluto going into Aquarius and Saturn into Pisces. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot. And this week there is a lot in the sky. This week there's a big grand fixed cross, which is asking us to commit more, which is asking us to look at our commitments different. It's asking us to rebuild and rework things in a way that sticks better, that has more gumption, that has a little bit more staying power to it, which I love. It can feel hard sometimes when we don't exactly know all of the ways in which we're wanting change. We just know that we're needing a solid change, not just change for change's sake, but an opportunity to see the world in a way that functions better with the reality that we want to be working within and the constructs. So, 3 planets are changing signs this week. Tuesday, Jupiter moved into Taurus. I love this because Jupiter is the lucky planet and Taurus is all the yum, earthy, loving, connected food, finances, stability. It's all getting like a big, beautiful hit. And I love that for us because it's time to get some yeses. It's time to reconnect. It's time to indulge a little bit in the things that nourish us most. And Taurus wants us to be nourished. And we've been in this like incredibly intense Taurian kind of energy, but Jupiter is sweeping in after being in Aries to smooth it over. It's like the massage after all the hard work is kind of how I see it. And then Mars is getting out of butthurt Cancer, which we like, okay? And it's going into Leo, which Mars loves that, it's finally the recognition of all of this work, of all of this intensity, of all of the everything that we've been doing. It's like, here I'm ready to be recognized. Here I'm ready to be seen. Here I'm ready to charge into action in this fiery, playful, fun way. And so, we're not taking ourselves as serious as we were with Mars in Cancer. Mars in Cancer, we were taking everything pretty hard. The Mercury retrograde was hard, the eclipse was hard, and we were taking it really hard. So it's almost like I can feel this little pressure release valve going psst, and you can finally feel the air start to release and start to come free a little bit. And so my invitation for you this week is to try some play, to try some more opportunities at relaxation and laughing. And when I think of Leo fire energy, I think of making spectacles, of dance parties, of spontaneity. Leo is ruled by the sun. So I see this need to shine a light down on ourselves and be like, bitch, I just got through that. That was me. I did that. And now I'm still here and I'm still processing, but I'm functioning and I'm going to go have some ice cream. That's what I did yesterday. I went and had some ice cream. And then we have this new moon. So the kind of interesting thing is that since we had 2 new moons in Aries last cycle, we're going to start to experience like a moon shift where normally it's the new moon and then we build up to the full moon. It's more like a full moon building into the new moon. So we're kind of doing the opposite vibe. And I don't know if you're going to feel that, but it's going to be more about working backwards, working towards manifesting in a way that is also deriving the energy that was into the energy that is and can be, right? So because our new moon on this weekend is going to be really at the end of Taurus. And so we're going to start for the rest of the year experiencing our new moons at the end of a sun sign. because the new moon's always in the same sign as the sun. So to me, that's kind of juicy because our new moons become full moons, kind of. Our new moons become this opportunity to work in a fuller way with more understanding. So our intentions have a little bit more grit and breadth of knowledge behind it. So for the next, few new moons, I want you to really manifest, because you're manifesting based on experience rather than this new thing you're bringing in. It's this, we've planted some seeds and how do we want them to grow? It's not that if they will or will not grow, it's how they grow. And I love that concept because we're not going in fresh every new moon now, we're going in wise for a while. We have the gift of wisdom for this little bit of period of time. And what I love about that is we can manifest in a smarter, better, more reasonable way, because we're not just picking at stars. We're like, okay, this is the bed that I made yesterday. What does and does not work about the bed that I have made that I now have to lay in? I think that this is a really great concept, and I think it'll bring solutions. Rather than something new, it's going to bring solutions to the old things and constructs that we've been working within. And I think that that's really fresh, and I think that that's going to feel really productive for us. And then at the end of the week, on Sunday, the sun moves into Gemini, which I personally love because we have been in such an intense, fixed, earthy energy for a while now. And with this grand fixed cross in the sky, everything has been feeling like, oh my God, why do I have to work this much harder just to get to the thing that I used to be able to get to without working this hard? Everything has just been taking more time, more work, more energy to get done what normally we could get done with our eyes closed. This energy is important because there are times in our lives where it is important to slow down, reprocess, reconfigure, and do things a little differently and maybe a little more productively in a way where we're not just like coming in with this kind of energy. We're like, okay, I can chill. I can master my chill. And when I come from my chill, I can make better decisions. Even though Mercury retrograde is like, damn your decisions. I take your decision and I throw it away. That's how it's felt for me. Like everything I've tried to do in Mercury retrograde has been very, just more work. Not that it hasn't worked or has not worked out, just that this Mercury retrograde and Taurus season has made me have to really dig in and really work a lot harder for my accomplishments. And there's like a juice and a goodness to that too, but I'm sick of it. And so now the sun is moving into Gemini, and this is a quick energy. All of a sudden, it's going to feel like, ow, my glasses were on my head the whole time. You've been looking for your glasses. They've been on your head the whole time. That's kind of what Gemini is bringing in. Duh. All of the does in our world is going to start coming up to the surface for us to be like, I get it now. I get it. That's what I love, is that whenever times have been like super hard and Mercury retrograde and slow, it's when you finally get it, it's muscle memory. It's not just you got it and you took a test and you got it, but then you forget it. It's no. Mercury retrograde made us do our times tables forever. So now we know them. They're in our blood. They're in our viscera. All of the lessons we've been learning over this really intense period of time waiting for spring is now here. And we can have a spring within ourselves that feels more like a summer here in Ashland, Oregon. But that's okay, because now the sun came out, life has cleared itself, the fog has drifted away a little bit, and answers are going to come more readily to long-term problems. So I really like that for us. It's a really big, juicy, yummy bit of energy this week, and some of it can be a little challenging. There is some aspects going on, that the second Jupiter moves and the second other planets are moving, they're squaring and they're doing things to other planets. Pluto is in the mix here this week. So to me, I'm just seeing so much transformative energy that can be frustrating or productive. You get to choose. It's hard to choose productivity when you're frustrated. So I'm really hoping that this week can clear away a little bit of the frustration or the stuckness or the feeling helpless almost to move the energy, like you're helpless to whatever's going on around you. Well, Leo moving into Mars and the Sun moving into Gemini doesn't want to be helpless any longer. It wants to find the solutions. It wants to finally find the goddamn golden egg. So let's pull a card for this week. I hope you find your golden egg, and I hope I find mine too. I love this. Here it is. It's all available to us. And I wager that it always has been. You know, it's all about our relationship to resource. I think of the play The Merchant of Venice when I see this card, because it's all about our relationship to each other, our trust in ourselves versus other, and our relationship to how, when, and where we get our resource. That if we are taking and not appreciating, if we are taking and not noticing, if we are giving and not being appreciated, if we are giving and not being noticed, what is the interplay with that? Because there's always a power dynamic in our life. Who is the asker and who is the giver? And how does it change and evolve and mutate as we go on through our life? The hope is that in healthy relationships and lives, we intersperse our giving and our taking, and it balances out, but that's so rarely actually true. Usually you're either giving too much or you're taking too much. And it's a time to be able to, with all of this Taurus energy, Jupiter moving into Taurus with the abundance aspect, it's okay, how do we balance out the giving versus the taking? Because just imagine if we all did that collectively. If we all were like, oh, hey, I've been taking a little bit too much lately. I'm going to give a little bit. Or, hey, I've been giving a little bit too much and now I need to ask for something. If we all balanced ourselves out, how right the world would feel. If we were all working towards balance. Because ultimately, that's what we have been out of, is balance. It's been really hard. Things have been extreme one way or the other. And what that card, I believe, is asking us to do is to take a gut check moment of our resources versus what's going in and what's going out, both on a soul level, fiscal level, relationship level. What have you been giving to the world and what have you been getting back? Because Taurus is all about resources. You are going to see a lot coming up with Jupiter going into Taurus for a year. This is a year-long cycle. So we're both blessed for a year, but we are also given this opportunity to see who's taken from the honey pot too much and who is constantly being left out of the honey pot. That on a global level of Taurus, of Jupiter in Taurus, that's what it's going to be showing us. And so best do it ourselves now. Take stock, see where you're giving too much and see where you're taking too much. Be honest with yourself. And when you do that, that's when the energies of communication, the energies of abundance likes to flow, is when there's reciprocity, is when there's an infinity symbol that, to symbolize that there is no beginning and end to giving and getting, but rather a collective, production. And how are you producing? That's the question. I hope we all get our cups filled this week. I hope we all get some answers to some of our underlying questions, maybe questions we didn't even know we had. I'm hoping for more clarity, and I'm so very much hoping that what is coming to you comes right to your front door. No more back doors. I didn't mean that in a weird way. Did it come off in a weird way? Hopefully not.